our number one philosophy at BLS, and we try to impart this on all of our employees, but our number one philosophy is treat everybody, and that includes affiliate, that includes employees, that includes your coworker, that includes clients. Treat everybody like your number one client. If you're going to treat everybody like your number one client, then you will succeed, no doubt. But if you're going to treat a vendor like they're beneath you, and listen, it's hard. The bigger you grow, the less control that you have and the slower things move. So it's very difficult to keep that quality control going, but that's the whole point, is that you have to keep that quality control going to maintain the standards that you believe in.
I thought it would be really cool to get the perspective of a very large company, especially for the viewers of this channel, because a lot of them are looking for affiliate work. And Eric has lots of experience hiring affiliates. And so I did a little background research on you, Eric. So currently you're a second generation company, right? BLS. What year did your company start, and how did it was your father, right, who got it?
Yeah, it was my parents. So BLS was started by my dad. He was an immigrant, like most people that go out and start driving a car, and he didn't know the English language very well, so he started driving a car. And he quickly found that he was very good at it, and he started by literally hustling the Empire State Building, and that's how he started to get his first clients. He was actually one of the first people in the industry to put a bar in the back of one of his stretches. So he actually built a bar. I actually have it in my basement, and it folds down and it has hinges on it, and he used to put peanuts in it, and he would put some booze in it. And then all of the people that all the other limo drivers on the street, they were like, man, why is everyone lining up out of Okon's cars? And then my dad would show them that he had like a little bar with peanuts and stuff like that. So that was the type of thinking that he always instilled into us as a company, to think outside the box. And, eventually English was not his first language. So he needed help inside the office. My mom, who was a substitute history teacher, he went to her and said, Phyllis, if you can start getting clients and start dispatching, I'll handle the outside, I'll handle the cars and the drivers, you handle the inside. And so their story began. My mom basically had my brother, which BLS started about 50 years ago. My brother just turned 45. So they started about 5 years before he was born. Then then I was born in 83. And they basically just built it one car at a time, no investors. We're still family owned to this day, which has been a struggle through COVID. It's been a struggle through, now we're dealing with the writer's strike. A large portion of our business is entertainment based, which is film and TV production. So we're getting our butts kicked a little bit, but like anything else, you just got to roll with the punches. That's the real short of it. Originally, when they started, they were 4-star limousine. They were content being in New York, being the number one choice in New York for that type of transportation. They had a bunch of late night shows. They were doing well. So this guy on the West Coast named BLS reached out to my parents saying that Davel just went bi-coastal. And that was David Klein back in the day when he owned Davel. He went bi-coastal, and the original BLS was getting their lunch eaten by Davel. So the original BLS came out and reached out to us and said, would you be my New York affiliate? And my parents said, okay, we'll give it a shot. So my parents changed the company name to BLS, and they became the New York affiliate of this BLS limousine service of LA. Eventually, BLS LA went out of business. And he made some poor business decisions. He got some green Oldsmobiles, and he went into buses, and he just made some poor business decisions. And then eventually, my parents went on a limb, and they opened up their own service in LA. They were opened up in New York and LA for quite some time. Then my brother and I came in, and in 2002, we opened up our first new office in Las Vegas. So in the back of LCT magazine, there was a classified ad that said Nevada limousine service for sale. And we gave it a call. I'll never forget it. It was on Oscar night of 2000. And yeah, it was 2002. Oscar night 2002. It was right after 9/11. So the industry recovered and everything was going great. And then we called. One thing led to another. and we opened up our first office in Las Vegas. That was a completely different business than we were used to, because while what New York and LA do is corporate and it's reserved and it's a lot of publicity and it's a lot of high-end event type work,
Yes.
Vegas was leisure, and it was completely different. So that birthed our leisure division of our company. So that's how we handle a lot of resorts and hotels and concierge desks and whatnot. And Mark, you can feel free to interrupt me because I can go.
No. Keep going. This is great. No.
Yeah.
So you guys essentially, so it was pretty much just New York though when it was your dad, and then you and your brother are the ones who kind of like, hey, let's look at these different markets, or did you?
New York, LA was my parents. So LA was my parents, and then when my brother and I came into the business, basically in around 2000, I stopped college early. I couldn't do it, so that's fine.
It worked out.
You don't need college to succeed in life. I don't believe. And so I came in around the same time as my brother, and we always had big dreams. We always were looking up to the biggest operators in the world. At that time, Cary was public. So we were always looking at them as kind of the benchmark of what we wanted to be. And that dream has never been lost. Today, we have about 10 locations across the world. We just opened up in London. And it's just done through connecting. And our number one philosophy at BLS, and we try to impart this on all of our employees, but our number one philosophy is treat everybody, and that includes affiliates, that includes employees, that includes your coworker, that includes clients. Treat everybody like your number one client. If you're going to treat everybody like your number one client, then you will succeed, no doubt. But if you're going to treat a vendor like they're beneath you, and listen, it's hard. The bigger you grow, the less control that you have, and the slower things move. So it's very difficult to keep that quality control going, but that's the whole point, is that you have to keep that quality control going to maintain the standards that that you believe in across the board. So
I'm curious, I have a small business, a few employees. How do you instill that culture and those values as you grow? How is that done?
I think in business and in life in general, you're always selling. And I don't look at it as a sleazy tactic. I think that you have to sell to get what you want. So whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kids, whether it's the teacher or for your kids or the coach, you always have to show your best face. And you're always selling. So and like I said, that goes back to treating everybody like your number one client. You have to be good, and I think that if you lead with compassion and you lead with empathy, that will go across. And you have to, there's a saying, hiring is guessing and firing is knowing. So nobody is ever going to do it as good as you, but you are not going to grow if you do everything yourself. It's just, it's impossible. And listen, for some people, they like doing everything themselves. They like making the living that they're having. They like having no employees or 2 employees or 3 employees. But if you want to grow and you want to scale, you have to give up control, and things will not be as good as you do it. But you just have to train, just like how you go and you train your chauffeur, or you go and you train your reservation agent. You have to train somebody to be a manager, and not everybody can be a manager. Managing people is a completely different ball game from dispatching rides. You have to know how to manage people.
You typically promote from within? Do you, or
in the beginning, when my brother and I first started, and when my parents were growing the business, that's typically how they did it. The larger we got, the more resources we had to bring in people that had experience.